What's up, everybody? Kind of coming to you. Surprise, surprise, surprise. I know. We didn't really even announce it. Just kind of came on the air here. It's 2 o'clock. It's not necessarily lunch hour. We're just kind of coming out of the blue. So I'm kind of hitting some of my... I'll be surprised to see how things happen here with the lunch hour crowd because we just kind of came on. Because we have breaking news. Breaking news yet again on the recap. I feel like we've been doing this all week long with breaking news. The Cubs have just traded for Astros slugger Kyle Tucker in what to me was an absolute no-brainer. And regardless of 1 year, let me go over the trade with you. Kyle Tucker, he has gone to the Chicago Cubs. Isaac Paredes is the king of the, or is the key to the deal. Okay, here it is. Dang it, I should have had it. Isaac Paredes, Hayden Wesneski, and top third base prospect Cam Smith to, I don't know, top third base prospect. I mean, that's Matt Shaw. But Cam Smith, Hayden Wesneski, and Isaac Paredes, who was just traded to the Cubs at the deadline last year, they all go to the Houston Astros for slugger Kyle Tucker. Now, for those of you saying, well, we got to make sure we sign him. Lefty Collins says, hell yes. Lennox, he's here. King Tuck. Everyone's loving it. Jess, hoping you would come on. Maybe Jed heard me yesterday. Yes, Jess. The comment yesterday was timely. Here we go. Yes, they better resign him, but Lou, just in case, let's not focus on, oh God, I hope he doesn't walk next year. He's going to free agency. But just like the Yankees traded for 1 year of Juan Soto and got to the World Series, the Cubs are better right now. The Cubs are better today because they just signed or just traded for Kyle Tucker. If you're just joining us, we just popped on. Chicago Cubs have traded for Astro slugger Kyle Tucker. I have his stats here available. I'm going to keep going off here with the comments. Moises is jacked, as you should be. This is an absolute no-brainer deal for the Chicago Cubs. And I think Isaac Paredes is definitely a really good player. Okay, I'm not going to people were like, well, he could be the Cubs third baseman for years to come. Kyle Tucker was a 4.7 WAR player. Yes, he only played 78 games. He fouled a ball off of his shin. And, I mean, the guy's been routinely, the 3 seasons prior to that, 157 games, 150 games, 140 games. He had MVP votes those 3 seasons prior to of 20th place, 15th place, and 5th place prior to getting injured last year. He had a 993 OPS. Lefty says it's a great deal. I agree. Mike, I really hate giving up Cam Smith. You don't know this. We've been talking this week about prospects and Garrett Crochet and everything else. If Cam's, let me paint you a picture, Mike. If the Cubs do re-sign Kyle Tucker, this is a no-brainer. If Cam Smith ends up being a 3-time All-Star, no-brainer. I'm with Justin. King Tucker is here. You're damn right he is. He's here. All you guys, we do the lunch hour every day with me, Ryan McGuffey. I didn't even I just kind of came in. I didn't even say this. Today was just bam, we started. Kaplan doesn't do the lunch hour. He's a guest every once in a while. You clear the way. Yeah, now the big rumor is that Cody Bellinger could be gone to New York. Certainly frees up some space there. And then you look at the Cubs payroll and you still look, it's probably about 175 by the time you add it all up. You add Tucker, Paredes is now off the books. You probably eat about $7 million in the Cody Bellinger deal, which leaves about $40 million. You know, belly for Devin Williams. Devin Williams was just dealt, Lefty. Oh, you're talking about belly for Devin. I see. Devin Williams was traded from the Brewers to the Yankees about an hour prior to this trade going down. I don't think that would be the case, but that's interesting, Lefty. I didn't think about that. That's creative. And the Brewers got rid of Devin Williams. What a day to make a move. All right. I like the dots that are being connected here, folks. The Cubs need a closer. That's maybe the worst kept secret in baseball. How about re-signing him after giving him an offer? David Kaplan calling me during a live show on our channel. Come on, Capper. Let's go. Cubs ain't giving up $400 million. Then you're not serious about long-term winning. You have an absolute dude here in your team. He's a career 870 OPS and 139 OPS plus. He was a 181 last year, folks. I know, again, he played half of a season. But to put that in perspective, I'm going to pull up Juan Soto. Juan Soto, who had I'm comparing Juan Soto's 157 games to 78 games, but Juan Soto's OPS was 989. All right. Cap saying there will be an emergency Cubs podcast. They're going to wait and see if Bellinger is traded to the Yankees. So a lot of balls in the air here. Who knows? Maybe Bellinger's traded to the Yankees while we're here doing the live lunch hour. I'm glad the lunch hour. By the way, this is twice this week we've come on the air or on lunch hour with news and a breaking trade. Yeah, I mean, this is a good way to look at it. This is from Michael Cerami. He's the best, by the way. Bleacher Nation. Basically, you look at it as Christopher Morel, Hunter Biggie, Ty Johnson, this year's first-round pick of Cam Smith, and Scott Effross for Kyle Tucker. I think everybody would have absolutely said that. I think it's either or here, Chris. I think it's Cody or Seiya, not both. It'll be something to keep an eye on. Do the Cubs that? Because now think about the Cubs lineup. This is what's frustrating to me. I love the Cubs with Cody Bellinger and Kyle Tucker. I just think it's, I mean, that's, you want to start to put a 3, 4, 5 together that people are going, oh shit, I don't want to pitch to these guys in the 8th. Cap's happy. Are you kidding me? Have you heard him all day on the radio? Cap loves this trade. Cap was like, get him here, even for a year. And that's where I'm at. You have, like, you worry about this year. Get him happy, keep him happy, make him fat. Meaning, make him fat in the checkbook once he gets here. He's not going to not like playing here, guys. It's Wrigley Field. It's the Chicago Cubs. They take care of their own. Is Suzuki going to be a DH? He doesn't want to be, which has made this whole trade possibility happen. He has a full no-trade clause. There's been constant communication between Jed Hoyer and his camp about that, and he has a very small list of players or teams that he would go to. Chance at I can say this, Adrian, the chance of Shaw starting, period, have gone up tenfold in the last 30 minutes. I think the Cubs were already trying to get him, clear a spot for him, but I think this makes it happen. I know, to the Yankees. Yeah, that's going back, Lefty, what we were talking about earlier. Now sign Alex Bregman. That's interesting. So bring 2/3 of the Astros free agents here. I like the idea of that. I don't know if Bregman is a fit for this team right now. Like, I'm all about signing the best players, period. But Alex Bregman's market right now, like, I wouldn't be surprised if he reunited with, okay, so Bob Nightingale saying that the New York Yankees now become a hot button team for Alex Bregman. John Heyman saying the Red Sox would be open to signing Bregman at second base. So it looks like he's open to the Tigers. I don't think Alex Bregman and the Cubs will be getting married anytime soon. Nice move. Love what they gave up to. Prospects are just prospects. See, I will take this over sitting on your hand. I know that guy who made that comment. Smart people make smart comments. I love what they gave up to. Paredes is a good player. He's going to plug and play and be the replacement for Alex Bregman. That's why it's a smart trade for Houston. They get a controllable third baseman to replace Bregman. They probably already realize they're not going to be in the market to re-sign Kyle Tucker. They've spent an entire offseason last year trying to get him re-signed, knowing that they couldn't. So it's a smart move on both sides. And if Paredes doesn't work out, then you develop Cam Smith. And there's really no organization that's developed prospects in the last 10 years. I mean, there's the Houston Astros are certainly on the short list. Bradley, I will wait and see Cubs spend money. You should at least be happy today. At least be happy today. There we go. Another person. Don't like it? Love it. Absolutely. Guys, the Cubs just got a – let me give you something here. I want to help you out for those. These are the WAR totals of Kyle Tucker the last 4 seasons. Now, keep in mind, 70 again. 5.7, 5.4, 5.4, 4.7. He is a 5-win player, period. 5-win player. I want to bring up Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger had a phenomenal year in 2023, okay? Was a 4.4 player. Cody Bellinger's WAR, he had an 8.6 WAR the year he won MVP. Since then, here are Cody Bellinger's WAR numbers. 1.5, -1.7, 1.4, 4.4, 2.2. Kyle Tucker Kyle Tucker is twice the player. Kyle Tucker's a superstar. He is. Pedro, great pickup, no doubt. But we need pitching. We never have enough, right? Let's live in the moment, Pedro. They do need pitchers. I think they're going to be able to clear enough money here to go get a pitcher. It might not be Corbin Burns, okay? But it could be a solid, maybe it's Jack Flaherty. Jack Flaherty would be a good Cub. He could be he makes a lot of sense. Amy Pierce, cool. Lefty. Some people don't understand. That's what I'm trying to help, Lefty. Especially Cub fans. Like, it's not what it once was where you don't play. I mean, the American League, now you play every team every year. So you get to see Kyle Tucker. But living in the National League, you don't necessarily know how good Kyle Tucker is until you see him every day. Great move. Amen, Tony. Like, give me the best players. Give me as many great players as possible. And don't be surprised when great players win games. The Cubs just got a lot closer to 90 wins today than they've been in a long-ass time. All right? That's just a no-brainer. Lennox, do you think we will trade for a closer or go with Porter Hodge? Lennox, they're getting a closer. Porter Hodge is not getting that ball by default. I really believe that. They are going to make more moves in their bullpen, I think, sooner than later now that this deal is done. They're going to worry about Cody Bellinger next. Matt Shaw's not ready yet. So Alex Bregman's getting a 6-year deal, Steve. If Matt Shaw's not ready this year, let's say he's not ready all year. That's not going to be the case. He's coming up this year. You're not signing Alex Bregman for 2 years. Are they going after Roki Sasaki? The only thing that worries me about Roki Sasaki here, Tony, is that his agent came out and said he doesn't want to be in a big market with a lot of media attention. If I'm a Cub, I want the talent, but that concerns me. What do you mean? He can come to a big market with not a lot of media attention and go 8 miles south. Pablo, hats off to the Cubs. My White Sox are far from it, but Chicago needs a winner. Amen, Pablo. Amen. We were just talking about this, Cap and I. The reason I came on late is we were at Friends of the Program, Feldco's holiday party. And I knew that we had the lunch hour, and I told Cap, hey, man, I got to get the lunch hour. But thankfully, I saw all the rumors this morning. I saw Bruce Levine out there, my teammate over at the Score, percolating some stuff that the Cubs were in talks, and these were the names. When you start seeing names, it starts to move quick. And I'm glad we waited because we get to do it like we get to do this now with the breaking news. Let's get Seiya on the south side. Man, Seiya would take DH every single day on the Cubs rather than be traded to the White Sox. He will be like, yeah, you know what? DH is cool. I don't need to play on the White Sox. I'd rather DH for the Cubs. Do you work for 670 The Score on Saturdays, Andrew? Yes, I do. From 9 to 11 tomorrow, it'll be me and Bruce Levine on Inside the Clubhouse. It's too bad we have nothing to talk about. Kyle Tucker to the Cubs, Garrett Crochet to the Red Sox. Big news. Bruce Levine was at the winter meetings. So we'll have plenty to discuss from conversations he had when he was down there. I think they pulled the trigger to keep the trade for Belly open. Seiya's not the best defender. Yeah, no doubt. That's why Seiya was playing DH at the end of the year. Sox made a good first step in the Crochet trade. They will still suck. Thomas, they're going to lose 100 games. Keep in mind, they lose 101 games. They're 20 games better than last year. That's something, isn't it? Cap was ready for this trade. He offered his spare bedroom to Tucker. That was good. That was good stuff. This morning, he very much into a lot of what you guys are saying that, yeah, this is, you got to go and get the best players. You got to go and get the best players. And that's what happened today. The Cubs went out and made a move for one of the better players. I see something in the chat here that's already making me laugh, and I haven't even gotten there yet. Get a freaking closer. They need one. They blew 26 saves last year. Are we giving up Seiya now? I think Bellinger's more likely. I'm a no on the Bergman. Well, I think you mean Bregman. Hey, Guff, what's up, David? Are the Ricketts ready to get into a bidding war with the other big franchises after the 25 season? If so, Tucker's bound to be the highest paid in franchise history. If not, this trade makes no sense. I completely disagree with you, David, because the Yankees were willing to get into a bidding war for Juan Soto and lost, and they went to the World Series in the 1 year that they had him. I'm not saying the Cubs are going to the World Series, but this certainly takes them a lot closer. You can't sit there and say, Well, we're afraid to trade guys, but we want Kyle Tucker next year. But let's wait. But let's lose the bidding war and never have him. No, you can't. No. Go get the best players. I'm guessing this means Bregman is not going back to the Astros. That is correct. Justin, I think this pretty much sealed that fate, especially with Paredes and Cam Smith. So, bye-bye. Alex Bregman's getting too much money. Woo! We need to clip off and isolate the part where Guff says, I love the Cubs. Clip it off, man. You know this. I always say save the receipts. No one flips more than Cap, so why not me too? No, I like that. I like that. We should flip. Might as well clip that off. By the way, I'm Guff, not Golf. So we should clip that off too if we're clipping stuff off. Jeremy, what now? Is Belly Gone a thing? Belly Gone is a thing. Let me give you the latest here from the old X feed / Twitter sphere. We have, this is pretty good from Kamka, by the way. Of 150, Christopher Kamka, the best follow. He works for Marquee, used to be a former teammate of mine, certainly a great friend, big Sox guy. Of 151 players with at least 1,600 plate appearances from 2021 to present, Kyle Tucker's 145 OPS plus is tied for 8th. I'm going to retweet this now. I just did in case you want to see this stat. Here are the 7 players ahead of him. Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, Yordan Alvarez, Juan Soto, Bryce Harper, Freddie Freeman, Vlad Guerrero Jr. That's the type of player that Kyle Tucker is. Behind him, by the way, if you want the final all list of 12, Kyle Tucker, Mookie Betts, Ronald Acuna Jr., Corey Seager, Jose Ramirez. Guys, how many MVPs are in there? I mean, Judge, multi-time MVP, Ohtani, multi-time MVP, Juan Soto should be an MVP, Bryce Harper is an MVP, Freddie Freeman win an MVP. I mean, Mookie Betts has been an MVP, Ronald Acuna has been an MVP. You see what I'm doing here? That's the list, folks. That's the list that Kyle Tucker's on. You have to trade Belly then. You'll get a better return than Suzuki. You're not going to get a lot, guys. He's owed $27.5 million. All right? The Cubs are going to have to eat some of that too. Probably about $6-7 million, just so you know. So because of that, your return should improve. If Suzuki's not the DH, then who? I think you wait and see how this whole minutia happens with the Bellinger Suzuki sweepstakes. Keep in mind, there's a billion free agents that are still out there. You could bring a guy in for 1 year, $8 to $10 million as a DH. You know, like a Jock Peterson, former Cub. I literally am just taking that name and spitting it against the wall over there because I'm just giving you an example. If they sign another bat, it'd be Alonso. I love that. I was saying that on the radio show a few weeks ago. Pete Alonso to the Cubs is so awesome to me. Like, if you're a Cub fan, that dude has edge, has attitude, can spark an entire team, spark an entire lineup, spark an entire fan base. You pair him with Kyle Tucker, dear God. Thomas says it's time for the Sox to trade Robert. Who knows? Maybe they'll do it on the lunch hour. Like, that's been the MO here lately this week. That's been the MO. I'm just keeping up to date here, folks. Everyone clutching their pearls about possibly losing Cam Smith is from Evan Altman. Just remember the Cubs have reacquired the last 2 promising third base prospects they traded away. Give it 3 to 4 years and maybe he's back in Chicago. That's funny. And that's also true. Here we go. What else we got? Lefty. Most of us just wanted them to do something positive, and this is positive. Yes, no more sitting on your hands. The Altman 9. If Vladdy becomes available, you can always use Bush and prospects. However, he's another guy on a contract here. Yeah. Acquire the best players, folks. I don't know if now, like, are you still trying to trade for another 1 year? Like, you probably don't have enough in the budget to sign $400 million player here and $300 million player here, right? Like, so, like, let's be honest on that. And do you trade a lot for another 1 year player? I don't know. You too, Jimbo. You know that. He will rake in Houston. Who are we talking about? Cam Smith? Paredes? Who cares? Kyle Tucker's going to rake at Wrigley. Who's our third baseman now? TBD. Maybe Matt Shaw. It's like Christmas come early. You're right, Jeremy. No doubt. It's a big Christmas present for the Cubs. 88 wins gets us right there. 90 gets you even closer, though, Lefty. Dude is a man. Jeremy's jacked, and I think a lot of you guys should be too. Shaw's the third baseman going forward. Certainly think so. I'll be honest, I think they could use Flaherty. They need some of that attitude. Yeah, I think Jack Flaherty's in play for the Cubs. I really do. Great trade. Cubs need left-handed power. They need a lot of power. I'm with Quinn, man. Keep it going. Like, I think Pete Alonso gets like 5 for 125, and all of a sudden that Cubs 3-4. My goodness, God. And like then that's where like Ian Happ becomes like kind of what you want him to be, like the scary forgotten guy that that can hit 20 to 25, rather than the guy that has to be good at the 3 spot. You know what I mean? Jed and Ricketts did almost nothing last offseason before the Cubs week at 2024. Think Cubs convention. Yeah. Good step in the right direction. Good job, Jed and Ricketts. Tom will like this move because it really saves him money at the end of the day. Because Paredes was making money. Kyle Tucker is too. I mean, they're not really, it's kind of a one cancels the other. 88 plus another 5 or 6 from Burns will win us the division. I'll take Flaherty too. I don't think Corbin Burns is coming here. I'm sorry to break and burst your bubble. You want to get an update on the Corbin Burns situation. I don't think he's getting $250 million, folks. I mean, Flaherty got 218. Corbin Burns is very much linked to the Giants. In talks to sign with the Giants. Okay, let's take a look here. Blue Jays and Giants are the 2 most aggressive teams for Corbin Burns. Allen, no more gopher ball with Sneski. Lost patience with him. Yeah, he's one of those guys. He could turn around and thrive somewhere else. I think is what you see is what you get from Hayden Wesneski here with the Cubs. Love this trade and like it even more that they have to go all in now to make it worth it. Charlie, well said. No more 83 wins, Jeremy. Yeah, you can't be complacent. You don't have a $40 million manager to come in here and be 83 and 79. Can't happen. Can't happen at Wrigley Field, period. The Cubs can't be a franchise that sits there and say we're players in a big market in a big city at Wrigley Field and then half-ass it in the offseason. I understand all the negative comments. We all know how ownership is in this city. Hard. Yeah, we were talking about this earlier today at lunch. It's like, what do we do to deserve this across the board? Like insert team here. Give me Roki Sasaki, and it's a great offseason. Now, Justin, maybe when the Cubs meet with him, they flesh out this situation about big media markets and pressure. Because if that really is a thing, I would not sign that. I would not sign it. What happens in September in a pennant race? What happens in a playoff game? You're worried about pressure? Eric says, looks like the Cubs are hopefully getting somewhere with this Kyle Tucker acquisition. Still need bullpen help and a closer. Then I think the Cubs can be a playoff team. Yeah. Hey, let's check off one box. Like, at least they're not sitting here going, we need a left-handed bat. We need power. We need closer. We need starting pitcher. Today is a good day for the Chicago Cubs. Jeremy, fans don't realize how good Tucker really is. Yeah, I think we mentioned that earlier when I just read that list. Hurts losing Cam Smith, still a prospect. We traded for a proven star. Ryan, well said. You guys at this point know me enough to say prospects are flipping prospects, man. Like it could hurt in 3, 4, 5 years. It might hurt. But what happened when that guy you traded for led you to multiple division titles? I mean, that's seriously what happened. 8 miles south. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. Wayne, born and raised on the south side. All this Cub talk has me breaking out in hives. Hey, Wayne, what do you think it's doing to me, man? I got to show my colors on both sides of town now. You know what I want, though, more than anything in this town? Something to talk about in a good way. Not just sit here and bash organizations 365 days of year for being lazy, half-assed, or completely inept. At least today, the Cubs went out and did something that showed they're trying to win a division title. Justin, is Amaya still the answer? No. The Cubs have made the kid from the Angels that they picked up in a trade, low level trade. I still think there's a couple of guys. They signed who's the guy they signed? Why is that? Carson Kelly. Carson Kelly. The Cubs did sign Carson Kelly. Excuse me. Just to catch you up on Carson Kelly. He was a really good splits guy. He used to be a former top prospect. He got traded last year from the Rangers to the Tigers, I believe. Yeah. And it was pretty good for the Tigers. You know, from an offensive standpoint, hit 9 bombs last year, but could call a game. So he's part of the thing too. Amaya made progress, willing to give him more time. We miss you and Chuck together. Appreciate that, Justin. You know, we have I did start our podcast here, so hopefully you listen and subscribe to that. You guys, I talk so much on the show, I realized I got to start drinking more when I'm here. But yeah, I appreciate that, Justin. So started our White Sox recap podcast. Certainly, at some point, I want to try to get the two of us back on and shoot the shit. If we turn half of our one-run losses last year to wins, then we are going to the playoffs. Think about this. I think it's if you had 26 blown saves, like if you have 18 instead of 26, the Cubs are a 90-win team and going to the playoffs, like a 91-win team. Lefty says it's exciting. You're not going to the World Series if you're not on the damn playoffs. Get in. Agreed. How many times have we seen, like, look at last year, like 2 years ago, I guess, when you look at the Rangers and the Diamondbacks, right? I mean, two teams that barely got in and they ended up in the World Series. Where do you think Robert lands? I would say, I keep saying he would make sense on a team that's got some pretty good superstars and they need an outfielder or they lose out on the Bellinger. And, you know, certainly Tucker, now that Tucker's off the board, if Bellinger goes off the board and like Santander goes off the board, people will be looking. If you're the Cubs, you need to keep Suzuki's bat. Unless Suzuki's unhappy, though. I'll take McGolfy over McGladry. Oh, you guys are funny. Those of you who have known me for a long time. Like I said, Ryan, some people don't know how good Tucker is. Absolutely. Dan Weeder, Intel. Yeah, I was going to bring this up. Poles was solely responsible for hiring Eberflus, keeping him for 2024, along with supporting the hiring of Waldron. Yeah. This article by Dan Weeder today is damning because it says Poles and Kevin Warren haven't really gotten off to a harmonious start in 20 months, that there's some worry up there. The building's a mess, folks. I think everything's on the table. So we'll keep getting that. We're going to talk more baseball here. Matt, this is how you use a deep farm system. Big market move. Yes. That's what happens when you have 7 of the top 100 prospects. That's exactly what happens, Matt. Really well said. Nice pickup, says Phil. Mike says, let's hope Tucker's a $200 million year. Oh, you're hoping he does. Come on, man. No, make him $400 million. Jeremy's definitely the most jacked up here. The real Phil Sims. Great move by Jed. Now I'll go get Bregman. Guys, you're not getting Bregman. There's no way it's happened. Alonso Guerrero, let's have that conversation. I like Alonso, though, because he costs you nothing in terms of capital except money. Another starter and closer. With the Yankees getting Williams, the division is up for grabs. I mean, the Brewers are still, until they're beaten, man, they keep figuring it out. Great point about Hap. Thank you. I'm a Cubs fan, but Robert Jr. is legit powered all fields and would feast at Wrigley. Talk about needing to change of scenery. Robert makes sense to me going to Wrigley. He actually would make a lot of sense. He could kind of fall in the middle of that lineup, like the 4th best player on the team, and have MVP type numbers. Still need bullpen pitching. Yep. The bullpen, it's going to get addressed. Ain't letting Jed and Tom do nothing. Yeah, you would think. This move is a mandate, and I'm here for it, says Swayze. The point of stacking the farm system with prospects is to be able to use them for deals like this. Ryan, do you think the Cubs are a playoff team next year? Can we ask this question in a month, Eric? Can we hold this one? They're too incomplete for me. I need to know more about their bullpen. I need to know exactly about their rotation. So can you throw this one on me on January 13th, maybe? Yeah. Great reminder. Great. I mean, I remember that. Light Power Tower. The guy might get a minor league deal right now. Facts, something to talk about. Carson Kelly. Yep, Justin, that's what we were talking about earlier. Certain prospects, however you know, are going to be starts. Chris Bryant wasn't just a prospect. I believe Cancer was one of those prospects. He's the real. Yeah, again, I'm not going to sit there. I want to watch my games on television or at the ballpark, not on MILB.com. All right? I don't want to watch minor league baseball. I don't. I want to watch Major League Baseball. Recap CHSN joint podcast with Chuck and Guff. Hey, never say never, Landon. Never say never. Wayne, you're messing with me. I know. I agreed with you, pal. A couple more here, guys, and we're going to get out of here for a Friday because it's almost Cappy hour instead of lunch hour here. Kyle Tucker acquiring Kyle Tucker. Come on, they can do better. No cap. Young every day wants me to get that cap on FaceTime. Oh, Young asking for FaceTime and Clyde saying I ignored him. Now I know it's a show. It's complete. The Bears. Oh, the Cubs pay when he's a free agent. Guys, worry about getting the player first, which they did. What's up, William? How you doing, pal? Do we have enough for Dylan Cease? That's interesting. Certainly got a call on him. 1 year Dylan Cease. What would that cost? That's a great call. No, they're not getting Burns. Santander depends on how much money he's going to get. They're going to trade Bellinger. Cubs need Sasaki and a closer. That could happen. That could happen. All right, the thing no one wants to see here, okay, as we put a bow on this edition of the Recap Lunch Hour with me, Ryan McGuffey, breaking that the Cubs have just traded for Astro Slugger Kyle Tucker. And you guys, maybe it's time to start fading me. It starts pouring down rain last night in the Thursday night game. And I'm like, perfect. A game with no flipping touchdowns. And I think I had the right player. I had Puka Nacua anytime, 7 catches, 97 yards, no touchdown. So we fall to 2-6. It's been a 5-day losing streak here. But this is part of the gambling procedures. Today I'm going with the same game parlay, folks. A nice little small one here. Nikola Vucevic. 3 or more assists, 2 or more threes, plus 130. The Bulls are back at it tonight. They've been off most of the week. They play the Hornets. We'll have a recap for that game after the game goes final right here on the channel. Cap and Gordon will do a Cubs breaking podcast that they traded for Kyle Tucker. And we're going to wait and see if Bellinger gets dealt. I don't know if it'll be as soon as today, but you can expect that we'll be all over it right here at the recap as we continue to monitor the situation, what's going on. Yeah, you want to fade? Hey, fade away, man. If you've been going against me the last 5 days, you're 5-0. But I have a feeling what goes around comes around, and it'll come back to bite you. Let's go Vooch tonight. Lefty Collins, you too, my man. I know. I got to get back to puckying, man. I got to get back to puckying. McPucky, I got the jersey still. Maybe I'll bring McPucky back out of retirement. I appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend. Appreciate you joining me here on the Recap Lunch Hour as the Cubs trade for Kyle Tucker. Big news, big week in Chicago baseball. The White Sox get a prospect haul for Garrett Crochet, and the Cubs get a superstar in right field. Appreciate you, Mike. Appreciate everybody. Have a great and safe weekend. We'll talk about the Bears on Monday as they prepare for the Minnesota Vikings on Monday night. Peace. You guys have a great one, and we'll talk to you again